Hey, everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row. I am Austin Ward. That is Reid Fragel. You know, when we bring in the former Ohio State NFL tackle, we're talking about those big guys up front, the slobs, and Ohio State's got a couple veterans, Reid, that they can rely on. Might just be the best tandem in America. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Nick and Thayer. I'm trying to think back on the last duo we've had that has been as hyped up or as prominent as they are. So, and it's well earned, it's well deserved. So, I'm excited. I know Buckeye Nation's excited to see them play this year. Hopefully, full health and everything. So, looking forward to breaking down their film, some of the highlights from last year because it's pretty dang easy. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and it was a little bit surprising that I would say a lot surprising, maybe that one came back. A little bit surprising that the other, Thayer Munford, wanted to get that degree and took advantage of that rare opportunity. He had accepted an invitation to the Senior Bowl, so that's like what makes it a real surprise, especially with his eligibility up. But that's an interesting decision. Now he's got a chance to be a 4-year starter, and as you alluded to the health there, Reid, that's kind of been what's kept him from becoming that first-round pick that we've thought he could have been for the last couple of years.
Sure. And I think maybe that was part of his decision, later on. You go through that whole draft process and leading up to going to the Senior Bowl, and you start hearing things. So I don't know if maybe he heard, his projection wasn't as high as he initially anticipated due to those injuries. And maybe whoever's, person in his ear was at that time told him to come back and, have a full healthy season, get that first round projection, which he can easily do if he's healthy. And maybe that led to his initial or eventual return. So either way, I'm excited about it. I know Ohio State's excited about it, but you just sometimes have to go through that process and hear some things you don't want to hear in order to, wake up a little bit. But yeah, I think if he has a healthy season, there's no doubt in my mind and anybody else's mind, I think that he can go first round.
We almost can't have this conversation without, acknowledging that Paris Johnson is right there. He's in that guard spot right now. We know what he could become at tackle when that opportunity is right. But for everyone who's clamored, which is almost everybody, I think, for Paris Johnson to be out there and start showing why he's a 5-star talent. Well, I mean, the issue is these other two guys are veterans and both really good. And Nick Petit-Frere, before Paris Johnson, well, he was the number one recruit in the country at this position.
Yeah, I think Coach Stud's doing a great job developing that whole offensive line room. And you're just going to have problems like that where, you want to see guys eventually get to their spots. But, when you're so loaded like this, that's a very good problem to have. And Coach Stud's done a phenomenal job turning that line room into something special.
All right, here's a big part of the reason why Paris Johnson will be playing at guard in the meantime. Thayer Munford and Nicholas Petit-Frere having a big outing there, which helped Ohio State win that semifinal game. Reid's going to break it down for us right now. Let's roll the tape. All right, Reid, this is that drive. It was a little bit, back and forth, really entertaining first quarter there down in New Orleans to think back to it. But this is really where Ohio State started exerting its will physically. And as you know, that starts up front.
Yeah, and anytime you got an offensive line that can run block as well as Ohio State does, you're going to get plays like this where you got the fake handoff up the middle there, and everybody bites, all the linebackers bite up, and it's a quick screen pass out to the side there. But the O-line does a great job of selling run there. And if you run it back a little bit, do a great job of selling run there, getting aggressive with their run blocks, which ends up obviously being a pass. But you're going to need these types of plays to set up later on the home run shots that you see Ohio State take.
What are the keys for blocking some of those quick hitters, Reid? It seems like it would be really easy, but I know that it never is.
Well, first of all, you have to establish the run. So Ohio State does a good job of that. So when you're able to run the ball well, you're going to have the defense kind of leaning forward a little bit more once they sniff out a run or they think they do.
Yeah.
So that sell job is super important for those types of plays. But again, when you're an Ohio State team that runs really well like they do, that makes it a little bit easier.
We saw this as it went along too, where Ohio State was really pushing the tempo and trying to catch Clemson off guard.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the biggest challenge there for some of those big guys when Ohio State does that here? Because they wanted this drive. This wound up being a long drive, and they wanted to go fast.
Yeah, I think when back when I was with Urban my last year as a tackle, we loved the hurry up offense because we were gassed, but we knew the other team was way more gassed because our practices were essentially hurry up offense the whole time. So we knew once we got that going, we had that momentum going, especially you got them on the ropes, they're just going to be gassed and you're able to pick apart a defense like Ohio State does this drive, just, knowing that you're prepared, you're conditioned for this up-tempo offense where they might not be.
All right, the right tackle here. We talked about Nick Petit-Frere. What do you like about this? This seems like one that might be fun for a tackle to get moving a little bit.
Well, he's working up to 10 there. He's got the tight end on his backside help, so he knows he has time. Maybe get a little more of a right hand presence on that D end, but he's able to sneak up there, slide through, deliver a nice blow on 10, and then you got that obvious huge hole that develops. Look at that block, that record there, right off the edge. I mean, that's picture perfect stuff if you're a tight end tackle working a combo there on the edge.
And then you still see there. I mean, Petit-Frere still running it down at the end. He gets an extra piece here at the end. It's like 10 was in his sights. He never wanted to quit on this play.
Yeah, I loved seeing Nick just run down the field. And throughout this whole game, he did a great job of just showing that athleticism down the field, looking for more action, looking for more to do. And that's what I love about this offensive line is they're never done. They're always hungry and they always want more.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunity for that in a game like this. The mix of pass blocking and run blocking, we've talked about that so many times. This is, if you're going to have the best tackle tandem in the country and a new quarterback, I think this is probably one of the one of the plays you put on here.
Yeah, this is about as good as it gets to the pocket. I mean, look at that. He's 8 yards back. He can probably go to 10, and he's got such a clear pocket up front. Look at the inside guys just having their way with 44, able to step up and deliver a shot. But Thayer is athletic here on the edge. He probably gives up a little bit more than he wants to, or maybe he's still banged up a little bit, but he's athletic enough, even when he's injured, to run a guy by like this, knowing where his quarterback's at all times. And that's something that, when he's fully healthy and ready to go, I think he'll be able to use that to his advantage and then some.
Yeah, it's weird with Thayer that he didn't have the same recruiting profile that Paris Johnson or Nicholas Petit-Frere had. It was a little bit underrated in that regard, and I sometimes wonder, like, he just doesn't come up as being like a key cog for Ohio State when everyone who watches him really knows that he is.
Yeah, I think he's just sound on a lot of different levels, and I say sound, not meaning he's average or anything like that. He's excellent across the board, in my opinion. And you see him have a year like last year where he still has a great year, but knowing Thayer and knowing what he's capable of, you just know once that injury, once he's able to play healthy, he can just be one of the best that Ohio State has seen at left tackle. So he is a quiet guy, I guess. Maybe that's part of the reason why, he's not hyped up. He's not, flashing like that. But wow, that was a hell of a catch there. I forgot about that one. But yeah, I think as you see Thayer go on, I mean, linemen are, known as mushrooms in the football world. You throw them in the corner, turn off the lights, feed them crap, and they'll grow. So I think Thayer is just, he fits the mold of a lineman, man. And that's just what we are.
Yeah, to stick around as long as he has, that's a lot of growth potential there in that dark room. So you see that pay off, and the same is true there at that right side. I think we know all about the diets and how much you guys have to eat, and that was harder for him, I think, than anybody else to put on that weight. And people wonder, maybe through 2 years, is he going to show up and be that top-ranked player at tackle? Well, you have to physically be ready to play the part, and last year he was.
Yeah, and I know firsthand that's tough to put on that weight while you're going through and burning through so many calories in a day on top of school and everything. So I can speak firsthand, knowing that program that they put those guys through, it's grueling, but you definitely are able to pack on the pounds. And Thayer obviously ended up doing a great job with it.
You look at the way that Nick uses it right here. He's still got that mobility from when he was at that lighter weight. And we've seen him make this move a couple of times. Where can he still get better, you think, Reid?
I'm sorry, I met Nick earlier. I think he's got a good understanding of the game. He's able to learn and develop pretty quick. I think quicker than maybe some people anticipated. I think I don't know. I would like to see his pass pro get better with his hands, I guess, his punch, be more violent with it. That's something that anybody can always work on, I think. But it's
talked about that before, Reid. How does somebody get better at that?
I think it's just timing, repetition. Over the years, 4 years at Ohio State, you guys will see more and more looks, obviously, and you just start to develop these reaction times that are quicker and quicker and quicker, and you're able to deliver a blow because you're seeing something. It's just like recognition of a pattern. You're seeing things happen, and you're able to pick up on them a split second quicker, and we're able to not only throw a punch and time it well, but you can throw it with confidence, knowing exactly what you're seeing. And the more confident you are in what you're seeing and what you're anticipating, the more powerful of a punch you can throw. So I think it's just something with time and repetition he's going to get better at.
All right, here's one where a tackle needs a little patience, and I know that the tight end in you loves this one as well. What's going to be the key? Thayer really has to help sell this, doesn't he?
This is a tough one, honestly, because it's nice whenever you hear, tight end help or running back help, but it also can work against you sometimes. If, right here you see Justin pop out of the pocket a little bit farther, and then Thayer's kind of a little bit too inside of the pocket to where the tight end chips him. He's kind of out there free for a second, and Thayer's looking around, not really sure what to do, but obviously the quarterback's so far away, it's not an issue, and it's a tight end delay, which is my favorite play as a tight end. But yeah, it's one of those tricky plays. And I know Jeff Hireman and I had this play in the Purdue game my senior year where he caught the 2-point conversion, something similar to this, where we ended up jamming the guy so much that Jeff had to go around me behind, whereas this is the perfectly executed version of that. And it's a tight end delay on the backside where he's really the only option, the tight end. But I think as a tackle, and maybe they played the play that I'm talking about with Jeff and I to coach these guys up and what not to do. But as a tackle, you're worried about that jamming the defensive end so much that it hinders the whole play. So I think that's what you see here out of Thayer is he's a little bit more patient, knowing where the play is going.
All right. Well, it worked, and so did yours. So those are both perfectly executed plays. Ohio State gets a big touchdown here and a big win, and they get both of these tackles back for one more year. Something tells me we'll probably be talking about it more as that season goes on. We'll get Reid in here for more offensive line breakdowns. Easy for me to say. Reid, appreciate your time as always, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Looking forward to covering more this year.
All right, for Reid, I'm Austin Ward. This has been BuckIQ at Lettermen Row. Stick with us for full coverage of the Ohio State Buckeyes all year at lettermenrow.com.